let's meet the Beatles. I've got Paul and John.
John.
And Paul's talking to George and Ringo. Well, I said in my intro, and you were listening to it, that there have been a lot of changes since this time last year. Well, we've seen them, you know, we've seen you making films and doing all sorts of marvellous things, but what have the changes meant to you?
Nothing really. I think the main changes are in people's attitudes to you.
How?
I don't know. But it's people who change rather than you. You know, we feel exactly the same, really. Got a new suit, though.
But you've made a film since then, and you just finished it.
Yeah.
Why did you make a film?
Well, it's a logical step, isn't it? And I believe it's quite lucrative, I believe.
Anyway, someone asked us. You know.
Yeah, we were asked to do it, and we said, yeah. And Alan Owen wrote it, and we changed it, and we're all everybody's
It's called A
happy.
Hard Day's Night.
Hard
At
Day's
your local
Night.
cinema now.
Not now.
Not now. Soon.
Did you prefer this time last year, or do you really like
No,
the big time?
I like whatever's happening at the moment.
Yeah, there's good in both of the stages. You know, it was great then, and it's lovely now.
Despite whether people are rude or not.
Oh, I take that.
What do you think about people who maybe, you know, didn't like you then or said something nasty or just didn't bother about you then, but are terribly nice to you now?
Well, we didn't bother about them then, you know.
And we don't bother about them now.
Do you know something?
Well,
I believe it.
yeah, it's true.
What difference is there since last June up to now? What sort of things have happened to you since then?
The main difference is that we've got more money and less time to ourselves. You know, everything's speeded up and we're just running around like mad.
And which of the two would you prefer to have?
Well-
More money or less time?
More money and less time. I think.
If you ever manage to get away from the crowds, what sort of things do you like to do?
Sleep, see films, go to nightclubs, drive my car, and that's it. Play records, watch TV.
What sort of records?
Just ordinary things.
What sort of records do you like doing?
Listening to all my records are sort of American ones. People who you probably haven't heard of.
Thank you.
Arthur Askey, Bert Whedon.
Do you find any difficulty in keeping up your public image? Just
No.
What image?
It's our image is just us, you know, as we were. We didn't try and make an image. It just happened, and so we don't have to keep it up. We just remain ourselves. Don't we, Ringo?
Well, we do, I mean, because
Don't know
the
about
other two were worried about.
You write very good songs, don't you?
Thank you,
Aye.
thank you.
How do you write songs?
Well, you know, we just depend. Sometimes we write them on old pianos and anything that's lying around, you know. Old tramps, anything.
Does it
murder
do the
getting
piano
into-
any good, you know?
No, it's murder getting into the recording studio. I've got a song, George, on a great big piano. But guitars and things, you know, normally we sit down and try and bash one out, sort of thing. But then again, there's no formula, because he can come up with one day completely finished. We still say we both wrote it, though.
When did you start
That's right.
writing songs?
I was about 2, I think. I wrote, "Pass me the bread, mother." Something like that.
No, it's more like when you were about...
About 13 or 14.
Yeah.
When I got a guitar.
Writing them seriously?
What was the one you wrote? Down at the
That's
pen.
me, boom.
Real funny songs then. Mine was I Lost My Little Girl.
Did you know each other when you were 13?
Yeah, that's when we met.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us about the meeting.
At Woolton Village Fete.
I was
met
playing
him.
at a garden fete in the village where I lived, or
Playing
just
at
outside
what?
Liverpool.
Just
Playing with a group,
In a group.
you know, the skiffle group. And he came along and we met. And
I knew one of his mates, you know, Ivan, was a mutual
very
mate.
complicated.
Hey! Mutual mate of ours. And he introduced us and things.
In those days, has your...
Go on.
In those days, has your attitude to fans changed since then?
No, there's just more of them to watch.
But they all scream when they're listening to you.
Yeah, but we love that, you know.
Do you really?
Yeah, really. Because it, like in Edinburgh, you know, I mean, you know, it's Glasgow tonight.
Yesterday, last
I
week.
shouldn't have said that, you know, I don't know, I've lost track of time. Anyway, the atmosphere in the theatre, really, it's marvellous, you know. Must come.
I will do. I'll try to come.
Good.
John, about your book.
Yeah.
How did you go about writing this book?
Well, sort of pen and paper and that.
Mm.
And that's about
In
it.
words, too.
I just sort of wrote it, the hobby.
Is this a stage that you went through, writing in this sort of garbled language that you have got out of now, have you?
No, there's a lot of it quite new. Or
Well-
either more polite or more rude, from one extreme to the other. Where's he gone? Flat.
Ringo, what's the most interesting person that you've ever met? I should say, who's the most interesting person you've ever met?
John Lennon.
George?
Harry Seacombe, I think. Harry Seacombe, yeah, he's great. I like him.
Is that the kind of person that you like?
Yeah.
Have you ever been frightened of your fans? A time when they've really frightened you?
Only
Paul's frightened me a few times.
only times when getting in and out of places when there's a thousand of them all together. But when you usually only meet about the most 6 or 7, if you were sort of running along the road, and then there's not enough of them then, is there, to sort of make you
You
frightened?
don't mind that so much?
No.
Do you never feel lonely sitting at the back?
No, that's where I am, you see. The drummer should always be at the back.
Drummers should be heard and not
seen.
Ringo, how do you feel about playing on stage and being showered with things like jelly babies, boots, girls, things like that?
Well, I'm lucky being at the back, The other 3 have it worse than I do, but sometimes it's a bit of a drag.
It's not much fun, actually.
Puts you off your stone.
Yeah, because actually we've had things hit us in the eye.
It's very
And
hard.
if you're listening, don't throw them in your eye. It's dangerous,
Bad.
You get it
Hello,
out,
boys. How you doing?
Hello, chap. How you doing?
You can get up now.
I pronounce your man and wave.